stops hearing from us and starts seeing us. It's about time, I think. With all that's going on, quite frankly, I was driving in today and I am shocked that more people haven't ditched the letters and the emails and the phone calls for something else, a good old-fashioned march on our nation's capital. I mean, for anybody who's watching right now and they're not really even at the email stage, you know, of anger, they're like, I don't know, I'm pretty pissed off, but doing this is an awful lot of work. I mean, how much more do you need to see to be convinced that you're being ignored and some of our freedoms are kind of going out the window? Our Treasury, which wasn't exactly weak in the last few months of the George Bush administration, is now unbelievably powerful under President Obama. Tim Geithner is now asking for authority to shut down non-financial companies, even if he gets a whiff that, you know, they might harm the economy. I don't know, that one kind of seems like a problem. At least a couple of lawmakers are asking honest, non-politically motivated questions and expressing the outrage that we all should be feeling.
What provision in the Constitution could you point to give authority for the actions that have been taken by the Treasury since March of '08? Sir, in the Constitution, what in the Constitution could you point to give authority to the Treasury for the extraordinary actions that have been taken?
And you realize how radical your proposal is.
It's not a radical proposal.
Oh, it's absolutely. You're talking about seizing private businesses, and you don't consider that to be radical?
No. I like the look on his face. What part of the Constitution? What? That wasn't in my notes. On top of that, Geithner is now waffling on something that should take about half a second to say, no. The world reserve currency to replace the dollar. First he said, we're not going to trash the dollar. Then he said, hey, I'm open to it. I mean, you know, why do we need that thing laying around? And then later he said, I don't know what I was thinking. I might have been. The world's currency is the dollar. Then also we have the debt. Since Bush took office, the size of the national debt doubled. And in just the last 6 months, they've put us on the hook for another $9 to $15 trillion. Democrats and Republicans alike have picked up the shovels. You know, they're doing the hard work. What are you doing, Bill? Oh, I'm just burying the grandkids. Yeah, that's all I'm doing. In obligations that I believe is now impossible to repay. But they're not just destroying the economy, or they're destroying the big hearts, you know, by hurting charities. They're destroying trust as well. Yesterday, the Senate passed a watered-down version of the AmeriCorps bill, aka the GIVE Act, which apparently we have problems with now. It basically indoctrinates your child into community service through the federal government. And now, as if all of that wasn't enough, I get up this morning, I'm driving in my car. The Obama administration is set now to release 17 Chinese Muslim separatists from Gitmo. And not just release them, but they release them onto the streets of America. What? Yeah, that's because no other country will take them. Who are these people that we're about to grant the greatest golden ticket in life to? Does anybody know? I mean, do you know? I told my team this morning when I met in the meeting at about 7:30 this morning, I said, I want to find out who these guys are. And don't you dare come back to me with some guest who's like, oh no, they're great. Give me all this sunshine and lollipop stuff. I mean, we're talking about giving these people welfare and putting them out on the streets. I said, I want some big conservative, even if they got fangs, I want somebody, the only one I'll believe that says, oh no, we can release these people. They're not going to be a harm. Is somebody who is a conservative that's not sunshine and lollipops. Well, unfortunately, I couldn't find any of those people. They all say the same thing. So I found somebody else who's also about as far away from sunshine and lollipopville as you can get. John Bolton, former UN ambassador. How are you, sir?
Good to be here.
Good to be here with you. Okay, so tell me about these guys that we're now thinking about releasing onto the streets.
Well, they were picked up in Afghanistan or nearby, and we believe that they were terrorists. They were brought to Guantanamo, and after a lot of investigation, it's been concluded by our military that they don't qualify as being enemy combatants. So naturally,
can we just speak English here? God, gotta be good. Are they terrorists or not?
Well, our conclusion is that they are not. But the normal thing would be to give them back to China, which is their country. The Chinese still view them as terrorists, and the military says that if we give them back, they're subject to all kinds of unpleasant things, so we don't want to do that. But here's the thing. Just because we've concluded that these people are not barbarians doesn't mean that they should be eligible to come into the United States. There's a little bit of a gap between being declared not a terrorist and somebody fit for admission into the U.S.
Okay. I don't think we care anybody. We're not checking anybody who comes in the U.S. I mean, you know what we could do? We could send them to Mexico, and then they could just come over in the middle of the night.
That'd probably be the easiest way.
Yeah, it'd be the easiest way. I'm sorry, I'm just seeing the... I'm so tempted. I wish I had one that said Johnny on it, but I don't.
Not yet.
Here's the problem I have with this. You say that no other country will take them. Well, why is that our problem? And I don't understand why they were in Gitmo for as long as they were. I mean, where did we pick them up? Were they at the playground with their kids one day?
No, they were found in and around Afghanistan, and I think we had perfectly good reason to pick them up. I don't think the details of how we concluded that they weren't terrorists have come out, but they weren't on a playground. So here's the point. We have been detaining them at Guantanamo because we don't know what else to do with them. That may be unfortunate. It may even be unfair. But that doesn't lead you to the conclusion, inevitably, that you just release them into the United States.
So what do you do with them?
I think you look hard for other countries that might be willing to take them. Some people have talked about Albania. There may be other possibilities, other Muslim countries, for example. And I think we ought to explore that. But even then, you have the risk, as so many others from Guantanamo have done, that they get out into the general population and they return to terrorism.
I'm just stuck on who thought Albania was a real country. Is that where the albinos come from?
No, but they are Muslim, and that's one reason it might be.
Okay, so here's the problem with this. If you release them onto the streets, do we have pictures of these people?
No pictures available.
No pictures available. I'm stuck on this one. Because I thought to myself, I asked for pictures. I said, see if there's pictures available. And then I said, wait a minute, hang on just a second. Would it be irresponsible of me to put pictures of these people that are going to be released out into our population? Or would it be the ultimate thing in responsibility to put these people, their pictures out on the street?
The International Red Cross would probably come after you for violating their rights under the Geneva Convention.
I don't really care what the Red Cross.
Because you're not supposed to.
They're not going to let me give blood?
Because you're not supposed to take pictures of POWs. And here's the fundamental point. The people who are arguing for release are trying to convert this into a law enforcement exercise as opposed to a war. This is where we pick them up, not at a crime scene on a battlefield. And the rules that apply to a person detained for a criminal offense simply should not apply in this case.
So what happens to them, Ambassador Bolton, when they're released on the streets? No, they release these people on the streets. We should, as if they release them in my town, I'd want to know. How dare you, America, release these people without telling me who they are?
Well, it may be a little bit out of his jurisdiction, but I understand that Denny Blair, the Director of National Intelligence, has said maybe we need to provide a stipend for it. Maybe it'll come out of the intelligence community's budget. But there's another idea out there that perhaps members of Congress should vote on what state they're released
Oh, absolutely. I'm Nancy Pelosi. San Francisco's a nice town. I love it. Okay, hang up for just a second because we have an exclusive here on Fox News about the United Nations, and coincidentally we have. Okay, they are now working on a plan that could redistribute money, businesses, jobs all across the globe. The plan falls under energy reform. Fox Brian's Wilson is live with us in Washington with the exclusive. Hello, Brian. How are you?
Hi, Glenn. It's good to be with you on your show for the first time. Hey, imagine the UN in charge of the world economy, or at least parts of it. If that's a scary thought for you, listen up. Fox News has obtained, right here in my hot little hand, a 16-page United Nations documents that lob some rather stunning and radical ideas into the UN global climate change talks that are about to kick off in Bonn, Germany. Now, according to the Obama State Department, the stated goals of these talks is to
see if we can come together on some kind of an effective framework, and that's the real important word, is effective, so that we can deal with the question of, global warming.
But, the document outlines some of the things that will be under discussion. Though written in rather bland, bureaucratic language, the authors of the document contemplate ideas that, if agreed to, could, among other things, dramatically alter world economies, force the relocation of U.S. industries to foreign countries, and decimate what is left of the airline and tourism industries around the world. Now, the U.S., as you know, does not follow the terms of the last global warming agreement, known as the Kyoto Accords, because it was thought at the time the agreement put the U.S. economy at a disadvantage. Well, the difference this time around is that the Obama administration will enter the talks sort of predisposed to make some big moves on the issue of global warming. And some are concerned.
That would give the UN